Rookie will make his mark. Ricky or Edgerrin? An NFC Championship rematch. Will Moss grow, or will the Dirty Birds fly high again? Can the tailor-made Jags be finer than the Niners? Jets. First test, painful. Washington tries to skin Troy and the boys. Can Favre and his pack avoid an Oakland raid? In Week 1, upsets in the making. Big-time finishes. You think you know what's going to happen? That's why they play the game. Well there, and welcome to Week 1 of the 1999 season, the final year of the decade, the final year of the century, the final year of the millennium. I'm Chris Berman. This is Tom Jackson, NFL Primetime. Tommy, talk about coming out of the gate. Some of these heart stoppers in the fourth quarter, and some of these, well, some of the plots remain the same.
Well, for Week 1, a very telling Week 1, we found out something about the teams that are used to winning, the teams that are used to losing.
And no pun intended, some bad breaks for
some big losses,
at least
yes.
one team in particular, hoping to head to the Super Bowl. But we have 13 TVs, as Art Donovan once said, 13 afternoon games. Here we go. We start in the land of the cheesesteak for Andy Reid and the new-look Philadelphia Eagles. They had a horrible offense last year. Jake Plummer, Jake the Snake, and the Cards made the playoffs last year, but his thumb contributed to 3 picks in the first half. That one picked up by Brian Dawkins. And Andy Reid trying to shake things up offensively.
Well, offensive coach-minded, and you watch him. This is trips down to the lower part of the screen. He backs the tight end off. Luther Broughton changes it into slot double wing, works a screen to the top. Luther Broughton, their tight end screen, gets into the end zone for a 15-yard touchdown.
Tommy, now the Eagles lead at 24-6 at the half. Last year they had 161 points all year. That means they've already scored in a half more than an eighth of last year's points. But Jake the Snake Plummer can come back. Rob Moore, just back in a few days ago, who needs practice, 46 yards on the play. 2 plays later, Plummer, Moore, touchdown. The Eagles lead is down to 24-22. 2 minutes to play. Eagles with a 3rd and 4. Peterson for Brian Finneran, and actually they almost can let the clock tick out, except he fumbles it into the air, and the Swami's cousin Kwame Lassiter picks it out of the air, 31 yards, and the Cards have a shot. Under a minute to go, Plummer. He can do this, Tom, the naked bootleg.
Well, Jake Plummer has the speed to get around the corner, and I love the fact he doesn't go out of bounds. You have to knock him out of bounds.
Chris Jackie just squeezes one through for the winning field goal, and so a 24-6 deficit has turned into a 25-24 Arizona Cardinal opening day win on the road, despite the fact the Eagles, for them, had an offensive explosion. The Cards had lost 7 straight opening games until the day, but Plummer 25 of 49 for 274. He's excited.
And what a typical Jake Plummer day. Those 3 INTs in the first half, none in the second half.
Deuce Staley had 100 yards for the Eagles, who will be better, but they got a way to go as they threw for less than 100 yards to their quarterback. Panthers at the Saints. Ricky Williams, first NFL game as they had the hero welcome. But on the opening kickoff, Michael Bates returns for Carolina, and boom! Fumble! Fred Weary with the hit. Tyrone Drakeford picks it up 20 yards, 7-0 Saints. The first challenge of the season. The new replay rule, Mike Ditka says, this play that Billy Joe Hobart pump fakes, and then they originally called a fumble, which would have been an 8-yard loss for the Saints. Now, what are they doing here, Tom? Is this a third world election, or did they put a quarter in that to look at a peep show? I mean, what is that? It just doesn't seem right. At any rate, they rule it was an incomplete pass, so it's 3rd and 10. Final seconds, first quarter, Ricky Williams, tackled by Eric Davis. Williams hurts his ankle. He did return for 2 series. Again, we've seen this.
Yeah, Ricky Williams with some injury problems early, and I think it has to do with the reps in camp.
10 carries, 40 yards for Ricky. Steve Berline, big hit by Wayne Martin. 19-10 Saints, fourth quarter. Berline, Brady Smith, and LaHoie Glover meet at the quarterback. 7 sacks, 7 hurries, 10 knockdowns, 1 interception. Steve Berline's seen stuff like this before, and the Saints win it by the count of 19-10, and they do have a good defense. The Ricky Williams, now they never heard first preseason game out. Now, who knows, although X-rays are negative on him.
I mentioned the reps or lack of that he got during the camp period. 9 carries during training camp, 10 today. That is approximately, since he joined this team, 3 per month. It's not enough to get yourself honed into playing in the NFL.
So Ricky Williams, this injury a little lower on his ankle than the preseason injury. When we return, the Titans, new look, new name, same running back, Eddie George. Wild one with the Bengals and the Rams. Quarterback named Kurt Warner. Could the Ravens quote them to make it nevermore. We'll be back. On ESPN, the Cleveland Browns, after a 3-year hiatus, are back. And fittingly, they open against their arch rival Pittsburgh Steelers. For highlights, Rich Eisen.
The Browns may have been on the shelf for 3 years, and the new Brown organization may be only 369 days old, but it seems as if hating the Steelers in Cleveland is like riding a bike. On Sunday, the Cleveland Plain Dealer printed several attributes of the typical Steeler fan, including, how do you spot the groom at a wedding in Pittsburgh? Answer, he's the one with the clean bowling shirt. Only fitting that the Browns make their much-anticipated return against the hated Steelers on ESPN. And it's only fitting that on hand is Drew Carter.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce to you the 1999 Cleveland Browns.
And introducing Ty Detmer in first quarter, no score. Cleveland has the ball on their own 35 until Chris Oldham picks off Detmer, returns it to the Browns 39. And the Steelers capitalize. Cordell Stewart rolls right. It's the keeper. 7-0 Steelers. So we see Cordell with his feet. How about Cordell with his arm? Check out the second quarter for that. 3rd and 12, fades back, 42-yard bomb up type to Hines Ward. That set up Stewart's 5-yard pass to Richard Huntley. 20-0 Steelers at the half. Fourth quarter, Tim Couch coming off the bench to make his debut. And his debut would be inauspicious. First pass of his NFL career picked off by Scott Shields. Returned back to the Browns' 30-yard line. Couch 0 for 3 with 1 interception, sacked once. The entire Cleveland Browns were sacked, 43-0. It's the worst ever loss for a modern NFL expansion team in its debut game. The Steelers beat the Browns in first downs, 32-2. Total yards, 460-40. Rushing yards, 213-9. And we went all the way back into the record books for this statistic. The Browns 0 for 4 all time on Sunday Night Football. Now back to you, Boomer.
A new helmet, a new name, a new home. 4 years, 4 homes, and 2 names. Well, more than 2 names. And there it's the Tennessee Titans now at Adelphia Coliseum. But Jeff Blake to Willie Jackson and Bruce Cousins Bengals that trail 26-7. They lead 29-26. But Jeff Blake, who ran for almost 100 yards, often had leg cramps. He had to go in and out. Achilles Smith played a little bit, and he fumbled from center. 1 for 2 for 11 yards. Tom, 35-26, the Titans trailing. Steve McNair to Eddie George.
Yeah, and a lot more aggressive throwing the ball down the football field and throwing aggressively even with his short passes, Steve McNair.
So Jeff Fisher and the Titans trail 35-33 after the extra point. 12 seconds to go. Still, same score. Al Del Greco, Houston Oilers. Tennessee playing in Memphis, in Nashville. And now it's a Titan. It's good. He now has over 300 field goals for his career. And wow, what a big comeback for the Bengals. Spoiled as Tennessee wins a wild one. We don't really have time to show you how wild this game was. 36-35, Steve McNair throwing for 341 yards. Jeff Blake actually running for 90 yards.
Yeah, one of the best plays the Bengals had was Jeff Blake running out of the pocket. He got the leg cramps, unfortunately. But again, a great day for Steve McNair.
Well, the Bengals held Eddie George to 42 yards, but they couldn't get a win out of it. Ravens, Rams, and Baltimore Ravens undefeated preseason under new coach Brian Billick. He has Scott Mitchell at quarterback. Now look what happens on the scramble. Mitchell tries to pitch to Chuck Evans. No. Todd Light. Laterals to Taj Allen, who mahals his way. Taj mahals his way down to the 41. Rams are going to score to make it 10-0.
Yeah, and Jonathan Ogden here pursuing on the interception down the football field, going to take a fall on his hip. But give a big man like that credit, 6'9", about 300 pounds, credit for trying to get downfield and making a play right there on the sideline.
The Rams would seal the game up 20-10. Kurt Warner, not the guy that twice ran for 1,400 yards in the season for the Seahawks, but the guy from the Iowa Barnstormers of the Arena Football League. He's the starter with Trent Green gone for the year. Hits Torrey Holt, the rookie. You know what? Warner threw for 291 yards. Rams line, that was Werewolves London Fletcher dancing around as the Rams beat the Ravens 27-10. It's Mitchell, who for only 188 yards in his debut for Brian Billick. When we return, new coaches for the Chiefs and Bears. Who would somersault afterwards? And Cowboys and Redskins have had some great ones, but I'll tell you what, for excitement, this one was right there. They head to overtime. We'll show you what happened. If you like offense, you'll love this. First time 2 new head coaches debut against each other. That's Gunther Cunningham Chief. Dick Geron, I watched him run the football for Yale and Carm Koza back when he was at college. He's an excellent defensive back, now getting a shot. Shane Matthews Band. Ants marching into the end zone. His first NFL start. Dumps to Curtis Enos. He's in there, and the Bears lead it 7-3. 10-3 second quarter. Cade McNown played a series. McNown, the rookie, to Macy Brooks, 23 yards. Hey, the Bears were fun today on offense. McNown, 6 for 9, 77 yards on his only series. 20-3 Bears at the half. Now, watch this play, Tom.
Well, boom, you look at the numbers coming at the young quarterback.
And in this time, the Shane Matthews Band is crashing. As Donnie Edwards picks up the Garrow-like play, goes 79 yards for the touchdown, 20-17. The Bears lead is down to 3. Under 3 minutes ago, Elvis Gerback overthrown. Elvis threw it too far out of the building. Gunther Cunningham is loser, and the Bears. Dick Duran hired Gary Crowton from Louisiana Tech to really run a whack-style wild offense. 5 wideouts, reverses, shotguns, slants, dump-offs. These are the Bears. They won it 20-17. Congratulations to a good guy, Dick Duran. Cowboys, Redskins. Did not have Deion Sanders. Tried to work out before the game. Can't go. 14-10 Cowboys second quarter. Stephen Davis stripped by George Ice Teague. Always around the ball, Tom. 2 fumbles lost in the red zone early for Norv Turner. Third quarter, 21-14 Skins. So Dallas led 14-3. Skins don't have the lead. Look at Stephen Davis.
What a great stiff arm on that same George Teague around the football, and did it without grabbing the face mask key, because he would have got a penalty if he had.
Michael Irvin sitting out a lot of third down plays. He wasn't necessarily pleased, but I think he would be later. 28-14 Skins. Brad Johnson had a big day in his Washington debut. To Albert Connell. Connell between defenders. Takes the ball away. 32 straight points for the Skins. 35-14.
Great job of concentration by Albert Connell. You see, he goes up, keeps his eyes right on the football, and then shows great strength, taking it away from the defenders, and great balance to get into the end zone.
So after 32 straight points, Tom, for the Redskins, Dallas has scored 7. Under 4 minutes to go. First down, Aikman to Michael Irvin. He slides into the end zone. Called a touchdown. 35-28. Here come them Cowboys. Deion thrilled. 3rd and 7, but Irvin in with $1.50 to go. Aikman, they ran this play the play before, no good. Now it's good. Touchdown. 12 yards, 35-34. Would Richie Cunningham provide happy days? Yeah, all right. Doinks it in. We're tied at 35 after the wild extra point. 18 seconds left. Fourth quarter. Low snap for Brad Johnson. To Michael Westbrook. It's a flag on Kevin Mathis. Redskins. 42-yard field goal attempt to win the game for Brett Conway. Matt Turk, the snap from his brother to Conway. He twitties it. It's only make-believe. What's he going to do? We go to overtime. As the new slippery ball slipped through his hands. Emmitt Smith, it's a fumble deep inside his own 10. But the Cowboys recovered. Tom, 4 plays later. 3rd and 2, 0-24. Look at the play action.
Yeah, and look at the play fake. You see Aikman hover over the football, drew the defense, head in the backfield.
They were closer to the Rockets at Cape Kennedy than they were to covering Rocket Ishmael. 27 straight Dallas points to win it. 41-35 in overtime for the first time in his career. Troy Aikman had 5 touchdown passes. Aikman threw for 362. Brad Johnson threw for 382. 2 receivers on each team had 100-yard days. A runner on each team had 100 yards. Each team had 500 yards in offense. And I know these may not be necessarily.
So there wasn't a lot of defense in this football game.
They're not good in a game played near the Pentagon, by the way. Tommy, the big names still delivered. Boy, crunch time, Dallas, 21-point.
Well, Jimmy Johnson, Barry Switzer, Chan Gailey, and I think Chan Gailey does a great job of altering this offense and opening it up. But you still talk about the 3 guys. It's Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, and Michael Irvin. And I think last year we have to realize Michael Irvin caught 1 touchdown the entire year. He caught 2 touchdowns today. So if he can begin to become a weapon, again, for Troy Aikman, I think that this Dallas offense will be in good shape. But they still have a lot of questions defensively. I think they knew that going in.
I like what I see. Norv Turner in a vertical type offense.
Yes.
Really hadn't had those type of guys there, but he and Brad Johnson combined for a great day. But they need a horizontal defense. We're all going to be horizontal at the end of the year. What a wild game in the nation's capital. We go inside the numbers. Comebacks in the NFC East by Arizona and by Dallas, both on the road. You figured that the home teams had it made, but that's why they play the game.
Inside the Numbers is brought to you by Visa, the preferred card of the NFL. It's everywhere you want to be.
Patriot Jets Tuna Bowl 5. One of the newest Jets, Blaney Pomeroy, trying to give the Jets a win. And staying in the toughest division of football, the AFC East, Edgerrin James. He had the edge on, much to the chagrin of the Buffalo Bills. Colts Bills also coming up. Mystic New England sports fans figure out as an automatic loss. Even in the Boston Globe on Friday, quote, it doesn't look good. The Jets talking Super Bowl, the Patriots hoping to make the playoffs. Trouble? Well, since the game was played in the swamps at Jersey, starting with a Tuna Bowl, it was almost like the boss coming out and playing Badlands. I mean, that's one of those songs that, like, you go out of the garage in fourth gear. Pete Carroll, Bill Parcells talking about places to go in Hartford, I guess, Tommy. Second quarter, 7-3 Jets, Drew Bledsoe. Deep for the speedster, Tony Simmons, 58 yards, 10-7 Jets. Now, on this Curtis Martin fumble, watch Vinny Testaverde. Just keep your eye on him. And he didn't do much, Tom.
Well, that's just a matter of that turf. You're backing up, you try to push off, and we all thought as we were sitting there watching it that it might be his Achilles.
Ruptured left Achilles, out for the season. Tom Tupa, not Rick Meyer, quarterback, because Meyer is the emergency quarterback. You bring him in now, none of the other guys can play. So Tupa, the punter, on the first play. What a great call. Goes for a touchdown the first play after Vinny's hurt. 25 yards to Keyshawn Johnson. Jets had a safety 16-10 at the half. First possession, Jets third quarter. Tupa. Well, that's the high holy days. Steve Israel on the blitz. It's a fumble, rumbling, bumbling, stumbling. Willie McGinnis played a great game. Falls on it. Touchdown, 17-16. He-Man.
Yeah, and we're going to take a look here at Willie McGinnis on 3 occasions and watch the burst that he has. The last 3 steps right there as he flashes in front of Tupa to force him to throw the ball away. Again, forcing him to throw the ball before he's ready. And here comes his second sack of the day. Look at those last 4 steps as he gets to the quarterback. That is a healthy Willie McGinnis, which we didn't see last year.
Well, the Jets were thrilled about their offensive line, but the Patriots coming under Pete Carroll, they've done that. Pats up 27-22. Now in the fourth quarter, you can bring your emergency guy in and play them all. Meyer, though, watches as it's a defensive player, Brian Cox, that provides the offense. Picks off Drew Bledsoe, 27 yards. They're up 28-27. Bill says go for 2. Meyer to new tight end Eric Green. Oh, a little hard, but it was there, and the Jets still lead just by 1. Come back to haunt them. 3:38 to go. The Jets trying to run out the clock. And tell me they're passing.
Yeah, they were passing the ball, and this is about the third in a number of passes that went over the middle of the football field into traffic.
Ty Law made the play, guarding Keyshawn Johnson and Chris Slade. Mama, we're all crazy now. He made the pick. Bledsoe, Terry Glenn on first down, 12 yards and another first. On 3rd and 6, Bledsoe, Detroit Brown, and his banner renown. First down to Patriots. They work it deep to 7 seconds. Parcells watches. Carroll watches. Adam Vinatieri tries to kick the Patriots to a win. Good! It's good! The new K-ball didn't bother him. Good! And it's the first loss by Parcells to the Patriots since their very first meeting. Parcells has a Jet coach. He had won the next 3, but the Patriots win it by the count of 30-28. A major, major win for them afterwards. And despite 8 catches for 194, Keyshawn not thrilled.
What can you do? I mean, there's nothing you can do. You can't do anything. There's nothing. We can't do. We couldn't throw. We throwing interceptions. Just, man.
Now, tough loss for the Jets and a big win for the Patriots. Of course, Vinny Testaverde, we'll talk more about this in a minute. To have him out now for the year, what a change of plot for the New York Jets in week number 1. And you see Tupa and Meyer and Lucas behind, and maybe somebody else to be signed this week. Who knows, Zolak, whatever. But I tell you what, elsewhere in the division, Bills, Colts. Do you remember back to 1987 when Pete Rozelle was the commissioner?
Indianapolis Colts, our first-round selection, pick, linebacker, Cornelius Bennett from Alabama.
It's the longest holdout ever. 12 years later, Cornelius Bennett plays his first game for the Colts. So does Edgerrin James, except he's a little bit younger. Thermal Thomas hurt on the first play of the game. X-rays to his rib were negative, but the Bills couldn't run. And Tommy defense bites here on the Colts.
You're going to see E.G. Green, the safety, Kurt Schultz, comes up, gets his head looking in the backfield. E.G. Green on the flag route, and into the and for a long game, not into the end zone.
Well, this is into the end zone. Edgerrin James, who for a while was, 9 carries for 7 yards, but including that touchdown, Colts up 7-0. Now 14-6 Colts second half for Jim Mora. And Edgerrin James says, you know what, I think we're going to give you a head of steam now. And, boy, he looked better and better as the game wore on. 26 carries, 112. Welcome to the NFL, Edgerrin James. Oh, by the way, Peyton Manning was great last year. Marvin Harrison, touchdown, they had 2.
Yeah, and you saw the great play action to Edgerrin James, and that's going to be the combination.
Well, here is Doug Flutie to Andre Reed, who moves past Paul Warfield and Lance Allworth, 6 all-time touchdowns. Congratulations to a great guy. He's had a great career, Andre Reed. Bill's still in it, down 10, 24, 14, 4 minutes to go until it's picked off by Tony Blevins. I don't think Hicks or Phoenix going to catch him. Kevin Williams is going to try. He could go all the way. What? Touchdown! Touchdown! Wade Phillips tried an appeal. They got to go back to that ugly gray sweater, I think, Tom, because Indianapolis just throttled the Bills 31-14. Buffalo ran for only 47 yards. Peyton Manning on the day, although Flutie had 300, Peyton had 284. Frankly, in this game, Tom, the Colts won the battle of both lines of scrimmage.
Yes.
Now, in the AFC East, number 5 last year, Indy, number 4 last year, New England, both winning key games against teams ahead of them in the standings, Buffalo and the Jets.
And you're talking about a division that had 4 playoff teams from last year. I think every team understands what happened to the New York Jets today in terms of injuries. You include the loss of Wayne Corbett before the season could even start. You've got Bill Parcells in a very difficult spot right now. The New England Patriots offensively, outstanding number of weapons in the passing game, which will cover some of their weaknesses in the running game if Drew Bledsoe can throw the ball the way he did today. The Buffalo Bills will not panic, although there is the possibility we start talking 0-2 next week. And then you look at my pick for surprise team again, the Indianapolis Colts. Edgerrin James is only going to get better as he does. He's going to make Peyton Manning better, and Marvin Harrison has a chance to be one of those super receivers in this league.
Jets at Bills, the Sunday night game next week on ESPN. The loser is 0-2. Wow. The good news is, however, both teams 0-2. Actually, the Bills were 0-3 last year, and they made the playoffs. So we return Brett Favre, hurt, but never fallen against the Raiders. Greg Hill, who needs Barry, right? As the Lions try to pull an upset at the Seahawks. And the Buccaneers say this is their year. Would Warwick and the Bucs get it well done against the Giants? Stay with us. Is it the Packers? You don't play very often. Ray Rhodes starts his tenure as head coach of the Green Bay Packers. Raiders lead 10-7 third quarter. Brett Favre constantly holding his thumb, Tom. It hit the contact with Russell Maryland. He stayed in the game, but he played in pain throughout. But you know what? When you got Antonio Freeman and you got a heart like Favre, you can do things like that and give him a 14-10 lead.
Yeah, and even though his hand was hurt, you could tell that he would not allow it to affect his throwing motion when he was actually delivering the ball.
2nd and 15 next drive. Packers Favre. What is it, Jack Squirick? It's Katie Williams. Returns it down to the 5-yard line. 3rd pick against Favre. And the Raiders go on to John Gruden's team lead at 17-14 after 3.
You're going to see a good job here of Rich Gannon reading the blitz by Sharper and getting Fred Vincent with James Jett, covering James Jett. The rookie gets beat by James Jett to get close to the goal line.
James Jett can go a long time, and the Raiders lead at 24-14 with 11 minutes to go. But Favre, they really like draft pick last year, Corey Bradford. Favre, 3rd touchdown pass. It's 8 yards, makes it 24-21. You know, they're always ahead. That's why that 13 fourth quarter comebacks, you'd think that would be higher. No timeout, 1:51 to go. Favre comes to Dorsey Levens. Dorsey was a horse.
Yeah, and Dorsey Levens, back to a healthy Dorsey Levens, always get that extra 4 or 5 yards at the end of a run.
Caught for 46, ran for 78. Now Favre, well, what a dart to Bill Schrader. Down to the 20. In range for a field goal, which Favre spikes the ball, but then he goes to the corner for Bradford. Out of bounds to the one with 15 seconds to go. John Gruden, who used to work on the offensive staff when Favre was a rookie, knows what's going to happen. Favre, buying time. Jeff Thomason, touchdown. Just 11 seconds to go. 11 play, 82 yards, no timeout, under 2 minutes to go. The Pack win at Lambeau. 28-24. Favre, despite the 3 picks, 4 touchdowns, 333 yards passing. It's a new era for him. First game, not under the tutelage with the Pack of Mike Holmgren. Afterwards, Favre, emotional.
Thank you, Brett.
Sorry, fellas.
Brett's rededicated. Not that he never was dedicated. I mean, this guy can take a whole team on his shoulders and win by himself. What a great performance. And the Raiders brought it to him defensively. Raiders
but I just love that when a guy like Brett Favre shows that kind of emotion, it proves how much he wants to win.
That's why he's the most fun player to watch in the league. And Mike Holmgren knows that, but he's now starting his Seattle tenure. First quarter, Lions' Herman Moore, where it takes teammate Tony Semple, rolls on his knee. Moore carted off, would not return sprained left knee. So no Barry Sanders, no Herman Moore. The Lions, I mean, they're obviously just going to get rolled by the Seahawks in the Kingdom, right? Charlie Batch and Jermaine Crowell would have nothing of it. 41 yards against Sean Spriggs. 25-7. The Lions lead it. Crowell 5 catches, 116 yards, 2 touchdowns in the first half alone. End of the half. Chad Brown, linebacker, Seahawks, collides with teammate Phillip Daniels. Neck injury. X-rays negative, thank goodness, although a very scary scene. Third quarter, the Seahawks lead, trail 25-7, and John Kitna caboodles it to Reggie Brown. Brown hurdles Ron Rice. They would score a touchdown on the drive. Now it's 25-14. Kitna. Derek Mays, former Packer, Mike traded for him a couple of weeks ago, sets up a touchdown. 25-20. They went for 2, no good. The Pats to Ron, rolling on a Rivers. Who needs Barry Sanders? You got Ron Rivers. Set up a field goal. And you know what? One of the biggest upsets of the day. Junior by a team that won 5 games last year with second leading rusher all time, Barry Sanders. The Lions go into Seattle and win it 28-20. Charlie Batch had 3 touchdown passes. Corral ended up with 7 catches in the game. Ron Rivers ran for 96 yards. Speaking of teams that at times showed flashes last year but finished 8-8, it was hot, muggy Tampa Bay, almost 100. Trent Dilfer hit by Jesse Armstead. Christian Peter, 38 yards, 7-0 Giants, a recurring theme. Bucks down 7-3, Giants offense about 100 yards for the game. Kent Graham can't find anyone open. Sacked by Steve White. First half, just 2 first downs for the Giants offense. Third quarter, Giants down 10-7. Look at the punt by Brad Maynard. Directional punting. Look at this. It's going to go inside the 10, inside the 5. Oh, and it pins the Bucks at the 1. Just where you don't want to be. 2nd and 9. Trent Dilfer. To Patrick Hape, he can't catch it. 3rd down. Dilfer. Told you it's going to get bad. Oh, man. What? Andre Weathers touchdown.
Now we're going to spot shadow Weathers here. Now watch him as he drops into coverage, takes a look, he's dropping off, and the ball is thrown right to him. It's a hard interception to understand if you're an offensive coach.
Tommy, this one was worse. Dilfer running, trying to make something happen, but there's 10 minutes to go. You're only down by 4. What?
And you have to know when to take your losses and run out of it. I think this is one that Tony Dungy wishes he maybe had reviewed and hoped that his quarterback was actually out of bounds on the play.
Well, I tell you what, Eric Zier came in, but they could not pull it out. As the New York Football Giants, despite the fact they had, maybe 4 first downs and about 100 yards in offense, the Giants go down to Tampa Bay and win 17-13 because of their defense. 3 picks of Trent Dilfer. Giants defense of themselves, not only with the scores, held Mike Allstott to 9 carries for 12 yards. When we return, rematch of the NFC title game, Vikes Fouts. All he does, catch touchdowns. Steve Young and the Niners to Jacksonville. Oh, boy. We'll be back. Jacksonville to take on the AFC Central champ, Tom Coughlin of the Jacksonville Jaguars. It was rainy, hot, muggy Jacksonville. Steve Young flushed out. Boy, the Jacksonville Jaguars brought the D, didn't they, Tommy? Picked up by Aaron Beasley. The flag is on the Niners. The interception counts. So the Jags, they can throw it, or could they? Battle of left-handed quarterbacks. Mark Brunell to Jimmy Smith. Gain of 13 yards. Same drive, 8 plays later here, late second. Brunell to Smith, 10 yards. 5 catches, bunked 7 first half. Under a minute to go in the first half. Niners on the Jacksonville 5, and look at Tony Brackett.
Yeah, Tony Brackett's coming off the left side of that offensive line against Dave Fiore, and this one caused a fumble and a turnover and prevented the 49ers from scoring.
You talked about in the pregame that this would be a big matchup, maybe a big year for Brackett.
I think the Dom Capers will make Brackett a great player here. He doesn't even let Fiore get out of his stance, and there you see the fumble caused as he makes the nice hit, shoulder hit on Steve Young.
It's still just a 9-3 game, Tom, in the third quarter, and R.W. McQuarters is going to return it, but unfortunately McQuarters was devalued to lira. Alvin Dallas win it with the strip. Jason Kraft is crafted for a touchdown. 2-point conversion, 17-3. Jeff Garcia mop-up time. Fitting that a Garcia would play for San Francisco. But you know what? Jerry couldn't have done any worse. Garcia picked up Aaron Beasley. It's 90 yards. Young out. Garcia in. It didn't get better. It was like a 6-3 game. It ended up 41-3. Brunell, 265 yards. But Steve Young, 9 of 26 for 96 yards and sacked twice.
Yeah, and that's Dom Capers in the zone blitz scheme and what it can do to a pretty outstanding football team.
Niners had the ball for under 25 minutes. You won't get many games when they don't have the ball, at least over half the time. NFC Championship rematch. Vikings season ended last year on a missed field goal by Gary Anderson. And look at Dennis Green watching Anderson, 27-yard field goal blocked by Shane Dronette. He made 40 in a row regular season earlier, remember? Anderson stuffed midfield.
Yeah, this is Anderson going up the middle of the football field. You see him juking a little bit, looking for the hole. So the offensive line needs to do a better job or make him a little bit more comfortable finding the seam so he can hit the crease and hit at full speed.
Vikings defense holding him to 9 carries, 29 yards first half. Randall Cunningham. But this was magic all year last year. Cunningham, Randy Moss. Incomplete bunt. There's a flag on the play and Ray Buchanan from
Louisville.
3 plays later. Actually, wasn't that bad, but Cunningham to Chris Carter, all he does?
Catch touchdown.
2-yard touchdown reception. He has more than anybody in NFL history except for Jerry Rice. 7-0 the Vikes. Now it's a 17-0 Minnesota lead. Chris Chandler to Chris Keller. 23-yard touchdown. Here go the Falcons. 17-7. Fourth quarter, 17-14. Gary Anderson. I mean, you got to be kidding me. He kicked 40 in a row. Is this the new ball? Because we saw more problems with the new ball. Holding, kicking. It looked awful. Chandler to O.J. Santiago. He was a secret weapon last year for the Falcons. Not so secret anymore. 46 yards. Flagged on the Vikes, so they didn't need it. Remember, the Falcons just down 17-14. Drive stalled. Morton Anderson. Hey, you know he's automatic. 39 yards. It's either the Balls or the Andersons. And you know what? I think it's the Andersons that are okay. I don't know. So Morton Anderson misses. And the Falcons never really have a chance. Chandler was battered, strained right hamstring, but hung in later. Vikings get their revenge. It was a tough one, certainly not the offensive explosion you might have expected with Minnesota, but an important win for them. 17-14, Cunningham, 22 of 33.
Well, a couple of things strike me about this football game. Number one, when you start talking about the Atlanta Falcons, you cannot turn the ball over, and those penalties down around the goal line almost loom as turnovers. And then the Minnesota Vikings, they change offensive coordinators, so you start talking about a record-setting team in terms of scoring, and they only come up with 17 points today, so I think we may never see what we saw from them last year. They may have to play a lot better defense.
But the Vikings go down and get what they wanted. A win at Atlanta, the team that denied them the Super Bowl last year. When we return, game balls coming up next. Who'll win them? Stay with us.
The easy way to save.
My game ball primetime player, Willie McGinnis. 2 sacks, fumble recovery for touchdown, 4 tackles, and an emotional win for the Patriots over their ex-man Bill Parcells and the Jets.
And my primetime player game ball goes to Brett Favre, and it goes way beyond those numbers that you're looking at. Brett Favre never quits, was hurt, and stayed in the game. We'll be back.
Time ceremonies carried live. John Elway, Ring of Honor. Tom, I think you remember that man when he was a young pup. Well, speaking of guys who could lead teams from behind, Brett Favre, Troy Aikman, Drew Bledsoe, Jake Plummer, they did it again. Teams that haven't yet learned how to win. Philly, Washington, Oakland, Cincy snatched victory from the jaws of defeat. It's a lesson they're going to have to learn.
Yeah, the Jacksonville Jaguars take the lead in the race for the AFC conference title. I wouldn't have thought that they could beat the San Francisco 49ers. Worst loss for the 49ers since 1980. And then Indianapolis, the big triumphant. Edgerrin James, Peyton Manning, and a guy named Marvin Harrison.
For Tom Jackson, I'm Chris Berman. We answer the question. We're ready for some football. Thanks for watching Prime.
NFL Primetime is a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Proud to be celebrating our 20th anniversary. For more, log on.
Yeah, prodigal son who'd have to do what the legend did best. You know, it's been said that football forces you to hold up a mirror to your soul to see what courage really is. 16 years after Dan Marino's debut came on a Monday night, Brian Griese's first start on a subplot-filled Monday night. Denver, winners of 24 straight at home, retiring John Elway's number 7 jersey at halftime. 2,000-yard brother Terrell Davis admits he's not in midseason form, but, quote, I've had enough experience not to, you know, look like I'm rusty. And a former walk-on in Michigan who led the Wolverines to a national championship, Shell Leatham, taking over from the guy who had more wins than any quarterback ever. First play from scrimmage for Brian Griese. Shorty ain't wasting no time. 5 yards to Shannon Sharp. Bob Griese, his dad, went just 1 for 8 for 14 yards, his first career start. Next play, Griese finds Rod Smith. Looks like he has possession. 2 feet down before he fumbles. It's ruled incomplete. Jimmy Johnson wants a challenge. He says, hold up, what's up?
During the play, the call on the field stands. It's an incomplete pass.
It stood more than it was overruled the first weekend of the NFL. Same drive, 3rd and 15. Brian Griese getting his vibe and his freak on with Ed McCaffrey. 61-yard touchdown. Griese threw for 84 yards in an 80-yard drive. He said later, I never felt bewildered or confused. Second quarter, Denver's Jason Elam had that record-tying 63-yard field goal last season. Look at Lorenzo Bramo. Spot shadowed and play a hating. Blocks Elam's kick. Terrell Buckley takes it down to Denver's 36. Dolphins did not block a kick of any kind last year and did not get one block against them. Dan Marino would take advantage. Dan with the radar lock and O.J. McDuffie, the guy with more completions and touchdowns than anybody, down to the one. McDuffie, first Dolphin ever last year to lead the NFL in catches. And then 2 plays later, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar taking it to the house. Kareem in 97 tied for the league lead with 15 rushing touchdowns. That made it 7-7. And then Dan Marino on his 8,001st career pass attempt gets his 409th career touchdown pass on rookie Rob Conrad's first career catch. Third quarter, 24-7, Dolphins 4th and 2. Griese was so chill, he seemed like a veteran. Found Chris Doering for the first down. Griese, 24-40, 270 yards. Same drive. Money finds McCaffrey in the back of the end zone. Easy had 3 touchdown catches. Dolphin DV T. Buckley gave Griese his props. Kind of. He said Griese can play, but John Elway can flat out get it done. Fourth quarter, Dolphins D getting it done, beating them kids down. Griese coughs it up after being sacked by Rich Owens. Jason Taylor picks it up. He takes it to the house. Last year, the Dolphin D gave up fewer points than anybody in the league. Dolphins went up at that point, 38-14. Mike Shanahan said later, if everybody played like Brian Griese, we would have won. They didn't. They lost 38-21. Terrell Davis, Dolphins put 8 men in the box and held the 2,000-yard rusher to 61 yards and 19 carries. What does Miami's win mean? Well, it means the Chargers in first place in the AFC West. They're 0-0. They had a bye and everybody else lost. It also means the Broncos' home winning streak stops at 24. It means Miami's the 3rd fastest team with 300 regular season wins, doing it in their 497th game. And it means the last remaining QB from the class of '83 spoils the jersey retirement ceremony for a classmate.
Everybody let everybody down today, and we didn't play collectively like we would, as we'd like to. And that's me. I take full responsibility for that. We just didn't have the drive for 60 minutes. I thought we would. We came out ready to play. We had a chance to, a couple opportunities to put and not the game away, but really take advantage of some opportunities, and we didn't.
It's tough going out there and, with the team to beat. And when you go out there, I just think you have to match the intensity, if not more. But I really think this game came down to really making plays, and we didn't make enough big plays.
The underneath stuff we're going to give them, and that's just part of our coverages. But I thought our guys did an excellent job on the deep ball, and they were giving us all kinds of formations, empty sets, backs out, everything else. But our guys, I thought they held up pretty good.
I never felt like I was bewildered or confused. It's just they're a great team, and they brought the blitzes when, we had protections, and they brought the blitzes, and sometimes we picked them up, sometimes we didn't. And then it's my job, to get rid of the ball, which I did sometimes, and we got to make some plays in those situations. It's just that I'm going to take some hits when that happens.
Miami wins huge just 8 months after losing to Denver 38-3 in the divisional playoffs at Mile High Stadium. Jimmy Johnson got his running game in gear after gaining just 14 yards rushing in that playoff loss. Miami's defense contained Terrell Davis for the 2nd straight regular season game, where TD has rushed for a grand total of 90 yards. Remember that playoff game, he torched them for almost 200 rushing yards.
And as for that aforementioned number 7 retirement, it happened at halftime on the field where Elway won 105 games. Now, unlike his retirement speech, Elway remained generally composed throughout until he saw his name revealed on that mile-high ring of fame. Then he got a little emotional.
Hey, what an honor it is to to see those things dropped off my name up there. I remember 16 years playing here, and with all the other great names up here, to have my name associated and involved in the Ring of Fame was truly a great honor. And I'm going to say this, I'm going to miss you, but I'm not going to be far away because I'll be a Denver Bronco forever. Thank you very much.
Elway had his moment Monday night. Will his counterpart from last year's Super Bowl have his next Monday? Well, Chris Chandler's doubtful with a severely strained right hammy for next Monday's game in Dallas. Chandler says he feels sharp pain in his hammy and over the possibility of missing a Monday nighter.
I mean, it's hard to really tell this early, but the one I had last time, I had 3 days before that preseason game. Now I have basically a week, so hopefully that extra, 3 or 4 days is going to really be beneficial.
As for Brett Favre, he has a sprained thumb and a bruised muscle in his throwing hand. It didn't prevent him from engineering the 14th game-winning drive of his career, and he says it won't keep him out of next Sunday's game against Detroit either. Now, what about Ricky? Williams and his freshly sprained ankle will be listed as questionable against the Niners, but with a bye week thereafter, Coach Ditka said he might be inclined to sit Ricky and give him 2 weeks rest. Last season, like the season before, the New York Mets won 88.